2 wedding rings today. I lost one, and then I found it, so I've got 2 on. And also, have I ever told you that in some cultures, the wedding ring goes in this finger, so I wear both, so now I'm married in 2 cultures. I look like a polygamist.
Dual-wielding wedding rings.
Yeah, innit? You know, like on like games when you've got 2.
It's like Diablo.
Yeah, you can dual wing.
The rings.
You got your fire ring, you got your ice ring.
I'm basically a summoner.
Anyway, that was the beginning of the Special Moves podcast. This is episode 51. Jake's talking about his wedding rings.
2. One wife, 2 rings. Don't, that's all. That could be the name of this podcast. It's good to be back, guys.
Do you remember when we went through a little period of like just putting just a quote or something as the intro, as the title for the podcast? Might have to bring that back.
Speaking of wives,
only.
Your wife gives me more painkillers than anybody else when I'm feeling not very well. So I'm off my head on Lekadol. Don't know what this is. So I'm just chalking that excuse out right now. Tasty little
medicine I picked up in Croatia, mate.
We're not sponsored by Lekadol.
Or Coke Zero either. This is...
There are other beverages, aren't there?
We're not sponsored by anyone apart from our delightful patrons who support us in exchange for a bonus podcast, which we've not done for a while because we've been away. Yeah. Very much like the same reason that we haven't done a normal podcast, because this is going to be late this week, obviously, isn't it?
We've like given you like 3 tweets as well. That's me making an effort. I made an Untitled Goose Game meme for the old Twitter followers there. Yeah. So
Special Moves are on the rocks.
What I'm trying to say in a tenuous way is that especially if you're an audio listener and you might not be up to date, like that is pretty much where we communicate our messages. So if like you ever like look on a Monday and go, where the fuck is this podcast? Do they even do things?
Go on Twitter.
Just look on Twitter and you might see like a 1 message a week or something like that. But it's just because the same reason we're not doing the podcast. We've been away, but it doesn't matter now because we're all back. Yeah,
playing games, talking about the PlayStation 5, which is the big one that's happened this week. We'll talk about that in a little bit, I guess. I'm so excited about this. I don't want to go into it now because we'll do it in a bit, but I'm really excited about PlayStation 5. Yeah. Because it's going to be the first time in my entire life I'm going to get a console on day one. I have the power now. I have the capacity as an adult person to go,
Fuck you, Mom.
Shut up, Mom. So I was pretty much living in my parents' house even when the PS4 came out. So, cause, when was it? Like 5-6 years ago now?
Yeah. That's at most 24
years. Yeah, out of uni, no job, I had an arts degree.
Most people who are my age and your age still do. So it's like, there's no slight on that.
Suckers. We own houses.
I'm thinking, when you said that to me, I thought like, have I ever had the console day one?
Yeah, day one is...
The answer's no.
Yeah.
Switch was the first for me.
So you did.
But that was like the first... That was, at the time, that was my first proper full-time, full-paying job.
Yeah.
And so I could treat myself a little bit.
Yeah, awesome. That's what it's about, isn't it? That's what we're talking about.
Still pretty new, though, that as well, isn't it? It's this gen.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no, I think I got the new 3DS for the day it came out, but that was like £120.
Does not count at all. No one even
and I used my student finance loan for that, so...
Unless you're Japanese.
So,
do you know what I mean?
The Switch is the first console I bought day one with my own money.
Amazing. Hooray to employment, eh? Yeah. But yeah, let's talk about some games first then, because we've talked about everything but really so far. Jake, what have you been playing this week? You've been playing a bit of Disco Elysium.
Oh yeah, I have. Yeah. Thank you for guiding me, because he didn't need another 50-minute Apex Legends.
No, he certainly didn't.
I'm playing Disco Elysium.
Look forward to that in a separate video.
Oh yeah. Well, listen. So the truth of the matter is, I am in charge of Disco Elysium being like in the hands of YouTubers and Twitch players all around the world. Like, so I've had the game for a while.
Because that's his job. It's not like some weird situation. It's just
it involves the Italian mob.
You got to go through this guy.
Yeah. So basically, the company I work for, we are distributing the game outwardly. And like, do you know what? Actually, before I worked for the company, it was the EGX last year, or maybe it was the year before.
No,
I played Disco Elysium, and it was like, oh my god,
seriously. It was rezzed, wasn't it?
No, it was proper EGX.
EGX last
proper
year.
EGX.
It was proper EGX in the rezzed area.
Absolutely. Yeah,
it was.
And
I played.
We met the guy, right?
That's right. Yeah. Met the developer and one of the developers, and got playing it, and I was like amazed by it. And then when I started my job, and I was like, okay, what's on our roster? And they said Disco Elysium. I was like, fucking hell, yes, I get to play it early. I've been playing it for like 3 months now. So
what is it then?
It's long story short, it's an open world detective themed RPG. You play a detective who's kind of got this ongoing battle with his own head, which act as your skills in the game. So like, you know, in like most games, like you have like strength, agility, charisma, whatever. So like in this, your things, your skills are your thought patterns. So you might have like deduction or physicality or reaction speed or whatever. But what's so fucking weird is that, like, you know, like in all these CRPGs like Divinity or whatever, you have conversations and there's skill checks and stuff. You have conversations in your own head. It's like thought processes.
Yeah.
So when before I started working on it, I saw like Rock Paper Shotgun. They were buzzing about it. Lots of articles were buzzing about it. And these are all these like wordy journalist types, and I'm really not very well educated or anything like that. The fact that the game is based around having conversations with your own head, I thought it's going to be so up its own arse. It sounds so pretentious, so wanky. But I'm happy to say it's not. It makes fun of itself for being a bit wanky.
I mean, that's the first impression I certainly got of it when I played it. It was that, like, I've got to admit, very well written, and you know that's what everyone was saying about it. So like when someone was saying, when everyone's telling me this is the best written game ever, I'm always I've said this loads of times before, but I can't help it, but I just go, is it really? You know, and I want to sort of prove them wrong to a certain degree or something. And I don't know what the hell's wrong with me, please help. But I played it and it's really well written. But the first impression I did get was like, oh man, this is like very like, you know, internal monologue, like existential crisis type stuff. That's the very, very beginning. It's very like artsy
it's like, so the first scene in the game is like complete pitch black.
Yeah,
you're talking with your inner self about your consciousness coming back, and then you wake up and you're a guy hungover in a room. It's so art school student wanky at first, and then it like loosens up, lightens up, and then the humor really goes in. It does grab you like very quickly though, especially if you do like RPGs.
Absolutely,
like the RPG mechanics are very, very detailed. Like especially if you're into character building. Like it's one of these games like, you know, like there's certain channels online that like specialize entirely on like build guides.
Yeah.
You know, like you could be one of those dudes and be into it. You know, you could be just like a story hound who just wants narrative. It's got that there. There's a lot to it. You know, the combat isn't in it actually, but it's very, very exciting to like everybody who's played it. You know, just because I'm the PR guy, like I'm aware that you're constantly going to be listening to me thinking, yeah, well, you know, if I say it's shite, who fucking cares? It doesn't fucking matter what my opinion is, does it? But it's not shite. It's actually fucking quite good. And it reminds me of it. Do you know what? Like, no one's talking about this element of it. When I was, like, thinking, okay, so who's this for? Like, it's not like Divinity, because there's no wizards or fire or combat and
elemental
damage and yeah. But there is a lot of talking. It's closer to something like Broken Sword. Remember like those point and click kind of games, almost like, you know, like Monkey Island or Broken Sword or something like that. So I'd say, and that's the kind of a genre that you don't see that much recently, right?
They're so niche. Like they still exist, but they're you know, they never seem to break mainstream. Like, you know, people aren't. It's not in the charts. People aren't talking about them.
Exactly.
You might see them on a sale on the eShop or something like that.
Yeah, so like I think Thimbleweed Park is like the latest big one that did it, and that was like a couple of years old. That's like the Secret of Monkey Island dude, though, right? If I remember rightly.
There was Tim Schafer, and I forget his name.
Yeah, sadly, innit? It's like Twin Peaks is written by David Lynch and that other guy, Mark Frost. Mark Frost. But, most people forget Mark Frost, right?
They do, yeah.
Well, this is the Mark Frost of...
3 people went to the moon.
Did they?
Michael Collins, Neil Armstrong,
Michael
Buzz
Collins.
Aldrin. No one remembers Michael Collins.
Shouts out to Michael Collins, man.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That's like the last sort of that genre.
Yeah,
in recent memory.
And it's kind of weird because there was obviously a lot that people grasped and enjoyed in that genre. Yeah. It's a very like PC Master Race genre, isn't it? Yeah. So this is kind of like evolved that. I thought. I'm quite confused. Like Embargo drops on Friday for reviews, and I'm really interested to see. I reckon it'll be high. Like I'm gonna take a punt, 88 on Metacritic.
Okay.
Fucking it's so
we've
like
got 2 digits there for you. Look forward to that.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see what people think of it. But I've been playing it and I've been enjoying it, and being such a CRPG fan, you know, I've been having a nice time.
High 80s on Metacritic, you reckon? No, that's no, I just love how the UN. I reckon it'll be 88. Like you know already or something. So if it does pan out,
now, there's no way that anyone will ever believe me again.
Exactly.
Yep. 88.
It's going to be, I don't know, 88.
Yeah, it'll be Yeah. No, I don't know. It's one of those games. It's just like every other type of game like this. Like even Divinity Original Sin. Like Divinity is a different one actually because I kind of recommend that to a lot of people. I would say, but this can I recommend it to people that like fucking Apex Legends in good faith? No, I can't.
There's a certain level of accessibility to Divinity, isn't there? Like just maybe in the presentation.
That's what it is.
And everything. But can you say the same about this? I don't know. I've not played it enough.
Exactly.
So.
I guess the accessibility lies in the fact that it isn't a high fantasy setting, which lots of these CRPGs are. But then the sort of point of entry is the fact that you've got to sit through a lot of dialogue, like a lot. The whole game's pretty much text.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's got like a cool art style and cool music and stuff, but the game is just text. But if you're into CRPGs, definitely keep an eye on them. I think some people are.
There's a good way and a bad way of doing it as well. Like I've spoken about Pyre before, the Supergiant Games game. I like reading. I like reading in games. I didn't like the way it's done there, where it's like quite an old-fashioned it's not old-fashioned because it's still massive in JRPGs, but where you've got like a character cut out and then the text is at the bottom of the screen. You're just staring at this and you feel like you're going through it like that. Whereas in a game like Disco Elysium or more like a CRPG or even a Monkey Island type title, you're a lot more like involved in the reading because you're choosing what comes next. You have to understand what's being said. Sort of, it doesn't dominate the whole screen like it did in Pyre and stuff. So I think there's a good way and a bad way of doing just like text. Do you know what I mean? In the same way as you can have good and bad voice acting, you can have good and bad writing, and you can have good and bad ways of giving you an experience where you're reading it.
Pacing is important, right?
Yeah.
But Disco Elysium is pretty interesting,
Sounds good.
Fucking sell that, aren't I? I'm rolling off this Lacadon, man. Much like the main character Disco Elysium.
Exactly. Oh yeah, in character. Doing some research. Liam, what have you been playing, mate?
So every October I try and do like a horror marathon thing. Games and films mainly.
Very cute.
Very cute, nice. I know. Theming my life around shit. But so far, I started it off with Darksiders 3, which I'll count as horror. Angels, demons, and the apocalypse.
I'll accept.
Shit like that. Yeah. And I played through that, having, I call myself a fan of the Darksiders franchise.
Yeah.
This I was not a fan of, though. And it is, it's a game that tried to be a Souls-like game that really did not need to be a Souls-like game.
Okay.
And I think that affected it more of a negative way than it did positively. Like, it made the combat quite tight, but everything else was a bit bollocks.
Okay.
Because you die quickly, and you've got the disposable currency, and it's just, I don't know, like...
Them Soulsy mechanics that have just made it...
I don't think the Darksiders franchise was necessarily the best fit for those mechanics, to be honest.
Yeah.
And overall I thought it was okay, but it's not a game I really want to play again, to be honest. And then, what else?
But you do replay games, don't you?
I do every so often, yeah. But I think, it's worth a go if you're a big fan of the Darksiders games, but... I'm probably more excited for Genesis than I am or was for Darksiders 3, to be honest.
So what's Genesis?
Well, Genesis is like a top-down twin-stick shooter type game, just with the Darksiders universe.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's got the original developer back on it, who the guy who created it used to be a comic book artist.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So he's back on that one. So I'm looking forward to that, though, which I think's out soon.
So it hasn't dented your enthusiasm for that at all?
No, I think the Darksiders franchise universe is still ripe for exploration.
Yeah.
With, got another Horseman to put a game around yet. Just go for it.
It's quite interesting how the as a series, basically all the games are pretty different, aren't they? Like even between 1 and 2, there's like...
Darksiders 1 is basically Dark Fantasy Zelda. Darksiders 2 is basically Diablo mixed with like a Platinum Games game.
Yeah.
And then Darksiders 3 went for the Souls formula.
Yeah, so unlike, like Uncharted or something where it's basically the same recipe from start to finish, but it's evolved slightly over time. This is just like they're experimenting every time there's a new number on the end of it.
I admire them for that, to be fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's weird that, isn't it? Because it's like, it can work both ways. Like, you could see it as a Darksiders game isn't always going to be indicative of quality, because you just don't know what you're going to get. But at the same time, if you didn't enjoy Darksiders 3, you could still enjoy Genesis, because it's going to be...
Sure.
So it's like, it's working for and against it.
Absolutely. And it's had no impact on Liam's enthusiasm, the fact that he didn't enjoy the last one.
I still like the lore and the characters and like this whole mythology they've built around these characters.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm still looking forward to what they can bring next.
Yeah, cool.
And then what did I play after? Dying Light. I started that.
Yeah,
a zombie
Zombies.
game
That's horror.
for the Halloween Horror-thon.
Yeah.
But then I'm not even
Horror-thon.
I'm not well. I'm just spouting words.
I saw Screamtober today. That's just as bad. So don't worry. You know what I mean?
And so I've started playing Dying Light. Not really feeling that either, to be honest.
Yeah.
But again, I think...
No, that's got a lot of love, doesn't it? That's quite...
I like it.
You know,
I'm pro Dying Light.
Yeah.
I bought it ages ago on the strength of like what people have to say.
Yeah.
And then since then, they've put out the enhanced edition and all that, which is the version I'm playing. But I think because it came out like 2014, I think, back then I can see it being amazing. But now it feels like they're just sort of like checking boxes. They've got parkour, they've got crafting, they've got RPG mechanics, they've got, like weighty combat with a stamina bar, they've got zombies, they've got side quests and everything. It just feels like sort of checking everything off a list.
Yeah, especially when you go back to that where there's been so many games since then. So it's a first person zombie survival thing, but
set in an abandoned city.
Yeah.
But you've got survivors as well you work with.
So everything about it seems like it could be generic on paper anyway, but then when you put that all of those gameplay mechanics, which at the time might have seemed like this is very satisfying and it's a very complete game, I'm getting loads of gameplay for my money and stuff, whereas we sort of all those elements have been in basically every fucking Ubisoft game since
sure.
So
like I'm going to carry on playing it though because I'm not very far into it. I've only done like the 4th or 5th main mission, I think.
You don't want to pull a mic here, do you? Do you know what I mean?
No, exactly. Like I want to, like it might be a completely different game towards the end game. Once you've got a few skills and upgraded everything, it might change completely.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna carry on with it and see. Hopefully, it picks up. I want it to pick up because I do want to enjoy this game.
Yeah.
But after the back-to-back menace of Darksiders and Dying Light, I turned to the great comfort in my life, Final Fantasy. And I started replaying Final Fantasy 7 on the Switch because it was recently on sale.
Yeah.
I'm not terribly far into it. I'm on the 64th floor of the Shinra building.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
To be very specific.
Yeah, very good.
So I'm still in like Act 1, not even left Midgar yet, but it's still just such a lovely game to play.
Okay?
Yeah, I was going to say.
I'll play, I just won't ever leave Midgar until the remake comes out.
do like a sci-fi section.
But I'm enjoying that still because it's Final Fantasy 7. It's an all-timer.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Let me make a sort of related segue here. You just said that you aren't gonna leave Midgar until the remakes out. All right. Someone sent an email that's sort of on a similar vein, right? So if you want to send us in an email, it's dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. Send us an email, tell us a story, ask us a question, do whatever you want. And we'll have if it's any good, we'll have a read of it in the podcast and have a chat. So this one is from your boy Jack from Reading.
Shouts out Jack.
Who says, Dear Special Moves, in recent years, I've started to starve myself of games in the months leading up to an anticipated release. At the moment, that release is Death Stranding. In the lead-up, I'll likely watch the odd film and TV show, but that's it. I feel this can lead to greater enjoyment and appreciation of said game, since you haven't been overexposed to various game mechanics and controls, etc. Especially for these big releases, I like to make the experience a special one. I'm sure I'll do the same for The Last of Us 2 in February. Lots of love, Jack.
Mm-hmm. Well, he waits months between. He abstains.
I can relate to this.
He's
a little
fasting
bit.
At the moment from games.
I used to get burnt out from games quite easily.
Yeah.
And even now, really, I've played Darksiders and a bit of Dying Light
in the past 48 hours.
Not since the 2 weeks we've been out, but I've over those last 2 weeks, I've watched more films and TV and read books more than I have played games, and I think it's probably something to do with a little bit of burnout, I guess.
Yeah, I think here's the question though, right? Could you ever possibly get burnt out of films? I think you can of TV because I haven't.
I was about to say actually, yes, you specifically, you went through a very, dare I say, angsty
I'm in it. I'm changed. I'm an angsty man.
You were like, TV's shit, and it's because a lot of what was out was shit, and then you fall back into it, don't you? I know what you mean. Like there's uppers and downers with it. But with films,
I feel like I could watch.
It's weird, isn't it? Because you could, you might be sick of one type of film, but you'd watch a. What's funny is I find that it's with old and new. So like you might only want to watch films again. Like you might be like, fuck us, I'm watching Star Wars. For
yeah.
Or like you only want to watch like comfort blanket shit like Lord of the Rings or whatever. But you might only want to watch like blockbusters.
It's strange, isn't it? I love I really, really love Total War games. If I played 8 hours of Total War in a day, I'd feel like, well, I don't need to play Total War now for another 2 months. Yeah. I don't know what it is.
It's rich. It's like a steak. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'll just have waste a day. Like I'll burn a day away, just like controlling armies and that. But if I watched 4 films in a day, I don't then think I can't watch any more films for ages now because I'm burnt out of films. I just not think about it, and I'll watch another film within a couple of days. Like it's just it's a strange thing. Like burnout, I think definitely does happen in gaming. It has happened to me, like for sure. Liam, you play loads of games, you have it. Jake, I don't know. You're quite an enthusiastic man, so maybe.
Yeah, I am. I try my hardest. You know what I mean. So for me, it's like when I'm like burnt out on games, I'm just normal. But then when I'm like up, I'm like ravenous.
Yeah, you're a man who stands in front of your television because of how enthusiastic
you pick that up every time. Like, come on, man.
It's because it's
in the comment section. It was like the same as me. So at least I'm not a complete freak.
But that's how enthusiastic you are about Apex Legends, isn't it?
Apex.
You want to get your eyeballs on that fucking LCD.
Fucking hell. Yeah, man. And like I'm always filling my time up with games and stuff. But yeah, I feel like I'm on a downer at the moment. Actually, like I was on the way to, not because of these Lecker dolls, like on the on the games and that, but it's like I was just traveling for a while, right?
Yeah.
And I had my Switch ready, primed and loaded, with full of fucking games. I had everything, all sorts. Didn't play fucking anything apart from Link's Awakening for an hour.
Same.
And it's like, come on, man. Like I know I should have been playing like Goose Game or whatever, but I just didn't. And I got home, and when I was away, Apex Legends Season 3 got announced. I was like, got home, all I've been doing. Yeah. So it's like, but if I was me a month ago, there was like Blasphemous and all this, and I was just going from one to another.
But then that feeling of being away, like you said there, like I think that's kind of what you've said there. Like, so you didn't play anything. You were like, you had all these options on your Switch, and you just didn't play. I had exactly the same thing when I was away. I just wasn't feeling it, and I didn't thinking about it. But then when I got home, I was like, right, I want to get on Total War. I got on Total War. I downloaded, like, I bought Men of War, like Assault Squad 2 or something, which is the first time I bought a strategy game in a little while. So that was like really exciting, like playing a new strategy game. So you get, when you have that period of like not just being in it, and especially for me, like when I love PC strategy games so much. When I do go through long stretches of not playing them. Yeah. So then when I just played through Battle for Middle-earth 2, right, over the summer, for probably like the campaign.
Yeah.
Genuinely probably like the 20th time I've done that, right? Mm-hmm. And maybe the 3rd or 4th since I recently reacquired it in the last couple of years. And it's just, but then when I have these long gaps of being away, and then that's like the most satisfying strategy game there is for me, probably with Total War Warhammer. Yeah. It's just like fantasy strategy game.
Yeah.
But then, it's because you have those gaps. So deliberately, like, fasting yourself and not having... I don't know if I would have the discipline to be like, if I was really excited for Death Stranding.
I don't think I do it, deliberately. It's more just like nothing.
It wouldn't make a good podcast if you
could. No, it certainly like when it's part of your job, you kind of have to do it, even if you don't want it.
What have you got for me this week, boys? Well, I'm still on the fast.
Yeah, you see them both. Yeah, Liam and Mike are fasting, so here's Apex Legends Season 3 rundown. It's... I'll purposely avoid genres sometimes like this, like single player games. Like I know that I've got a single player game on the way, so I'm not gonna play another one. I say that's not true at all. I'm definitely gonna play this fucking Outer Worlds, which is a massive single player undertaking right before Death Stranding. But whatever. Do you know what I mean? I can see where he's come from.
Yeah, no,
my boy Jack, our boy Jack. Our boy Jack is like fucking...
It's a bit good like Mr. Tom, that, isn't it?
It's a UK TV Gold daytime film. But yeah...
the theme tune's played on a tuba. It's like...
What I want to know is, Jack, if you don't mind doing a follow-up, you can just do it as a comment. You don't have to send another email. But like, you're waiting for Death Stranding, yeah? What would it hurt you to go and play Goose Game?
Well, he's saying, but it's the... Yeah, maybe he does like dip into
That's
them
what I'm wondering.
type of things.
Like a little one like that. you know.
Yeah.
Not like Ghost Recon or anything big and
Yeah.
cinematic. But what about like a little roguelike or something?
But I think it's just not playing anything. Like having that level of like engagement when you're like properly fresh, you haven't played anything for a while, and you get into it and you're like, yes. And that's exactly what I just had with all the strategy games on the weekend. Like, because I just hadn't, you know, I was sort of fancying it in the week leading up. I was like, I want to play some strategy games, and then I get home, smash a bit of Total War in it. So maybe it's the same thing. He just doesn't want to touch a controller.
That's what I mean. Yeah, it's like an experience when he's holding it. He's like, oh.
Yeah. Anyway, talking about controllers, let's talk about PlayStation 5 for a little bit.
Yeah, that's good.
Because that is
came out of nowhere.
I thought it was alright. It did come out of nowhere, didn't it? But it's like,
but it's very muted reaction.
Disappointing way of bringing it up. To be quite frank,
it was barely an unveiling.
Businessy way.
Yeah,
it felt like something you'd hear at a shareholders meeting.
It was like one of them, you know, like when we were doing like daily news stories, and then some Activision guy would say, "Oh, and yeah, we've got a Call of Duty penciled in for a Q4 or whatever,
exactly.
or whatever it is, Q3."
And
then everyone would go, "There's a new Call of Duty." It
almost
feels
like
that.
hidden amongst business jargon.
Yeah,
it's like what happened with the new Time Splitters. They announced Time Splitters 4 in the middle of a thing. Oh, and Koch Media and Deep Silver are working on, and it's like, oh, okay, but that was it. Like. I told you guys, you know, that shouldn't happen, should it? It should have been fucking blasted at you guys, because you're all connected.
I saw some tweets of people saying, I saw a Eurogamer tweet about the V-shaped. Do you remember there was like a leaked...
like a drawing.
Yeah, it was just, you know, it's obviously not going to be what the thing looks like.
Yeah. Oh, that was a leaked dev kit, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah. But it had like... So then someone was saying, it even looks like a sneaky V, as in Roman numeral 5.
It was clearly at least a U.
Do you know what would be fucking baller? Make it a fucking 5 shape, innit? Do you know what I mean? If you're going to do that...
Maybe it was, we just saw it from a different angle.
Yeah, exactly. This is only the dev kit, so who knows?
Well, I hope they just make it like a PS1, to be honest.
That would be very nice, yeah.
Big,
boxy and ugly.
Yeah, big, like, rectangular monolith.
Flip open
do you know what would
thing
be
for the Blu-rays.
Do it.
Do you know what I would like?
I'd
My
love that.
perfect PS5 would be, you know in the original Sin?
A Switch.
A teleport pyramid. That shape.
Yeah.
Full-on teleport pyramid.
Why?
Be fucking because it's shit as fuck.
Yeah, it is.
It would stand out so
Console
bad.
designs have been pretty boring since the
GameCube.
GameCube.
GameCube did a cube, yeah?
Yeah,
Do a pyramid.
and it had the handle on it.
Do a fucking Tetley's pyramid teabag shape, do you know what I mean?
I'll have a dome in it. Do you know what I mean?
Just come
I want it to
on.
look like the house robot Matilda from Robot Wars. I want that under my TV. Yeah, I mean, so what was some of the features that was? There was a lot of little details that.
Yeah,
a lot of tiny detail.
post.
Yeah,
well, not even tiny, but like
significant, aren't they?
Cool stuff.
So there was SSD, for example. That's exciting.
No, yeah, I was laughing because you said cool stuff. You said SSD, and I told my wife about this, right? And I was saying, "There's USB-C." I'm thinking, who gives a fuck apart from people that like games?
Digital Foundry, mate. They're buzzing. But there was some pretty eye-opening things. I mean, in terms of performance and stuff, like you'd expect, it's going to be a better machine. It's obviously going to be like, more powerful and stuff. But was there anything that like leapt out to you as something you thought, oh, that's cool, that's interesting?
Well, everyone's going mad about the hardware accelerated ray tracing. Yeah. You know, ray tracing is all the rage in PC gaming at the minute because of NVIDIA. And then, a lot of people think, well, it'll be more 30 FPS games then. Because ray tracing is pretty intensive on graphics cards.
Oh, it's going to be, but that's never going to change. It's going to be pure visuals. Like whatever the performance you're going to get, they're going to crack the console for visuals.
By the time they get 4K, they'll already be on to 8K or whatever, and we'll never have 60 FPS, which is disappointment. Apart from select games, but
remasters and that.
Yeah, but the SSD, which they said they tested Spider-Man with,
right,
and it like loaded the city. Near instantaneously.
Cool.
Yeah, it was something like, was it like from 7 seconds of loading to 0.8 seconds?
Something like that, yeah.
Barely noticeable. But I think that's quite important though, because the speed of like, you know, sitting there and waiting for like, you know, like, I don't know, like Destiny is one that always kills me. Like, and I know that's to do with like network and connectivity and that, but just staring at that fucking ship.
What was the game that had fucking stupid loading times recently?
Oh
my god.
Oh, what was it?
There was a game like literally like last. It wasn't Borderlands 3, was it?
It might be.
The loading times on that was shit.
I've played.
Do you know what will help? Days Gone, like if you were riding the motorbike, you could see the world popping in front of you as it was trying to read it off the hard drive.
Well, no one will be playing that next year anyway. Like, let's be honest.
No Man's Sky is going to be a banger on the PS5, isn't it?
Yeah. It'll still be going.
Yeah, no, I fully hope
Backwards
so.
compatible. That was the other big feature, so you should be able to play No Man's Sky.
So I'll do a lovely, completely free visual upgrade pack for PS5. I bet you.
Yeah, I mean, and that'll be the sign off.
Yeah.
What was it like? They did they did like a Wired article as well with this reveal.
Yeah, that was it. So it was a Wired exclusive apart from this blog, right?
Yeah, and they had a developer from, I can't remember where it was, but it was a game developer, and they were saying how the SSD means they're not going to have to, like, you know, force players to wait behind a door whilst the world loads in, or you wait for an NPC to, you know, get to you and open the door for you.
Because the way games are loaded, like, you always, like, you know, the old-fashioned way, you always think of like static image loading screen and then a bar at the bottom of, like, but the games are just constantly streaming from the hard drive. Like, a lot of them, like, you know, there's like, especially open world games and stuff, like, how many games that do the thing where, you know, you look in a certain direction and that part is loaded, but then when you turn a character around, it sort of loads the world in, like, you know, whatever you can see around you, and then when you run along the map, especially games like Skyrim and shit like that, they're constantly, like, that's why you can hear, if you've got the disc version, you can hear a disc, like, clicking away and stuff like that on certain versions, and, you know, the game is constantly, like, loaded, basically.
Yeah, which is why even games like God of War with no loading screen took you into that tree of life bit,
make you run around in a circle for a bit.
You just literally running around waiting for for the game to load. Like, you're not tricking anyone.
No Man's Sky, like, you know, giving you that, okay, it feels like space travel, but do you need to be space traveling for like 2 solid minutes? Exactly.
It's it'll make a big difference, just that increase of speed, right? I'm quite interested in this haptic feedback that they're going to put on the controllers.
Yeah, that was the other big one.
Yeah.
So what is that?
So it's like this weird, like, you know what, like, the buzzword way of describing it is, like.
Go on, Jake. Do it.
All right.
Do it.
Hey,
say it.
You touch the computer, but the computer touches back.
Oh, that's horrible.
The way that they
horrible.
fucking described it. You know, it's like vibration and, like, feedback to the extent of detail that you can, like, simulate the feeling of texture.
Do you know who's going to be super into this? The same people who are super into ASMR.
Yeah, like, or like, that's the thing. Yeah, that's the first thing that Cale said to me when I told him.
That's Cale Hamilton, friend of the channel.
Friend of the channel. I'm going to quote him directly. He said, "Am I going to be able to feel the shaft?"
Leave it there, mate.
I knew it was a mistake when I started, you know. He said, "Am I going to be able to feel the shaft of a sword, like my long sword on one sword?" So I said, "I don't know," and I left it at that. But that's the question that you will want to be asking, isn't it? If you can you feel the shaft of a long sword? But let me tell you something about haptic feedback that I found interesting. All right, just so you guys have got, like, a bit of, because, you know, you guys would know this probably, but in case you don't know, haptic feedback is used, like, on certain tablets, like tablet computers, for blind people to simulate braille. Like, it can convert text.
Oh, that's cool.
And, you know, blind people can run their finger over what's essentially like, you know, like the middle bit of the PlayStation controller, that, like, black touchpad bit. And the feedback, like, can simulate bumps.
That's actually really cool.
It's a very cool bit of technology when it works right, and I'm interested to see how many devs lean into that. Just because, like, you know, when PS4 came about, there was that fucking, the wobbly controller thing, 6-axis.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Well, PS3, that was the 6-axis.
Oh yeah, because Killzone and that. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah,
it was like Starhawk or some fucking.
Lair. Do you remember Lair with the dragons?
I remember. Oh, yeah. I remember not figuring out how to, like, rotate a valve on Killzone.
Yeah,
because I couldn't do it. Like, anyway,
that's so annoying.
This fucking stupid 6-axis thing doesn't end up being used much because loads of games are third party and the 360 didn't have it or whatever, right? So that's what I'm wondering, like, how many third parties are going to use this? But if they can really do it, if you can feel the shaft of a sword, you can feel stuff like that. Or, like, if it's a horror game, is it going to be like a jump scare where it feels like there's a hand touching your hand or something? How serious are they going to get with this haptic feedback? Because the technology is interesting. I don't know if it's a little bit too premature to get stuff like that, but I know that they can do Braille right now, so that is interesting. And to me, seeing how they do with that is like the most exciting thing.
I think they gave the example of racing games. I think it might have been like Gran Turismo Sport specifically, where they had like if you're in a car and then you're straddling two different like road surfaces, so that you got gravel on one side and then tarmac on the other. You'll be able to feel it in the controller grips.
All right.
So you'll have like the rough gravel in one, and you'll be having like the haptic feel of that. And then in the other hand, it'll be just like smooth tarmac.
It's like that. How many ice cubes have I got in my Joy-Con?
Very Switch.
You know?
Yeah. It's a bit like people. It's probably easy to disregard like how important like vibration and controller feedback is to like especially like shooters and stuff. You know, I'm always banging on about like Destiny. I feel like Destiny's the best shooting experience I've had, you know, for years and years. The vibration is like a key part of that, just like the click of the matching up with the sound and the visuals and what you're, you know, how immediate it is to when you're pulling the trigger and stuff. So, you know, simply as just an elevation of that and just taking that a little bit further, it's pretty exciting, I think. Like just a different way. Like the Destiny genuinely, I was describing it to you as like the fucking, you know, the crack, the fucking shooting crack. But then, the vibration is a key part of that, and I wouldn't have had that experience if they didn't have that sort of technology in the controller. So they're always pushing it forward, like you guys were saying. The Joy-Cons, it's pretty like precise, isn't it? Like, you know, I know it's a joke, but
it is, to be honest.
It was good on Golf Story on the Switch,
right? Okay,
like taking different strength of swings at the ball.
Yeah,
it gave a different feel with the HD Rumble.
So HD Rumble, that's it. Yeah, I forgot what they called it, but they obviously it's Nintendo. So when Nintendo have like hardware features, they really try and make the most of it, and they think about how they can implement it in the game and stuff. Like, you can't say the same about the PlayStation touchpad. Like, when was the fucking last time you used the touchpad?
Killzone Shadowfall.
Exactly, the first fucking game that came out. It's like Shadowfall and
Tearaway Unfolded.
Oh, Tearaway's actually good though.
Isn't it sick? And that's got a good bit of touchpad on that.
You should have played it on the Vita when it was originally out.
Bet even more mad.
It was amazing.
So that's two examples from the fucking 500 games or whatever on PlayStation 4.
Yeah. But the other thing on the controller as well is the triggers can have varying resistance.
That's cool.
And the one they said was like when you're pulling a bow and arrow, and as the tension of the line gets higher and higher, you'll feel more resistance in the trigger.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so when that comes to The Last of Us Part 2, which will inevitably get like remastered and get a PlayStation 5 version,
of course.
They'll have, because with The Last of Us, the first one, they did do that. Like, you know, they brought over features that were like PS4 features, and they could like you could play it in 60 FPS or you can play it 30 FPS but with better graphics.
Yeah.
So they'll probably do the same thing when they going forward. Overall, I'm just really glad it's happening. I'm really glad. I'm really, really happy about the backwards compatibility. That was my main thing. Like, that was 100%. I've been banging on about it.
Well, they already confirmed it. They just sort of like reiterated their commitment to it.
I missed that.
That's right. It's so important though. It would be a bigger news thing if they said it wasn't happening. It would be like a bigger, like, travesty. That's a strong word, but it would be. There's a lot of real travesties happening at the moment.
Hidden in a blog poster, wouldn't it?
It would, yeah.
That's why
there's no backwards compatibility.
Well, probably more importantly, they confirmed it's called the PlayStation 5, and it'll be out holidays 2020.
Imagine they changed the naming convention though, just like, do you know what?
They can't do PSV though. They already did it with Vita, and that died a death. Vita, do you remember Vita means life was a meme for a while?
Vita
as it was dying.
I don't think anyone remembers anything about the Vita. That's the thing, and that's it.
I couldn't even tell you what it looked like.
That's why they remade.
I'll bring it around next time.
Yeah, all right. I'd be fascinated.
A little relic.
Yeah, exactly.
I love the Vita. It's so good.
I had So we've got PS5. That's so straightforward. Like, Holiday 2020 is the same time that Xbox releases
Project Scarlet.
What's that called?
Just Project Scarlet at the minute.
What are we reckoning for that?
I
correctly guessed Xbox One X, didn't I?
You remember that. You really did.
So how about this one?
Oh. Have you already thought about this, or is this developing right now?
I thought about this.
Okay.
Xbox 362. Thank you very much.
Okay, if that happens,
isn't that amazing?
I did see quite a funny one. I think it was on Reddit. Someone saying because of the backwards compatibility, they'll call it Xbox One second of his name. like a royal family.
No, I honestly reckon, right, Xbox 360 would be too good. Like, I'd buy it because it'll be called something like Xbox Infinity, because it's got the backwards compatibility and the forwards, and it's like they like numbers, but they don't want to deal with numbers anymore. This is beyond numbers. This is Infinity.
Xbox Endgame.
Xbox Infinite. Yeah. Xbox Infinite. That's what it'll be, you know.
Okay,
because
I
they're
like
going to go down to the games as a service route.
I like that in the sense that I think that will happen.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't like it as a name.
No, it's trash. But that's a high chance.
I like the theory.
If I'm right twice in a row, fucking hell. I'm excited now for this.
I'll tell you off some dinner, mate. If you're right, I'll go buy you some
listen,
food.
Honestly, right, I got Xbox One X right. This is it. Bookmark this and come back in a year.
I can see the Kotaku article now, and there's going to be like a paragraph. There's going to be a paragraph about three paragraphs down.
88 on Metacritic.
It's the Jake is a reliable source because he got Xbox One X right.
I did get the last two right. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Xbox One. What was it? Xbox One Infinite.
No, not Xbox One Infinite. Just Xbox.
Oh,
Infinite.
sorry.
By
Xbox.
making it infinite, you're disregarding numbers entirely.
Okay. I believe it. I believe
just
in you.
keep releasing slightly more powerful machines every few years, keeping the name.
Yeah. It is going to be really interesting to see how it pans out, because PlayStation, I'm going to get the PlayStation because I've got so many fucking PlayStation 4 games. I mean, I'm locked in. Do you know what I mean?
Xbox is going to crush it next generation. Easy.
They're going to be good. Yeah.
They got Game Pass and they're really building up to that. They've got so many studios.
No,
PlayStation have running out of exclusives.
Do you think they're going to crush it in sales or just in how good the value
It'll
is?
definitely be better, but people will buy the PS5 more because the install base is so high and everybody's loyal. I'm buying a PS5 over an Xbox, and I know an Xbox is going to be better.
But so am I. But it didn't happen like that with 360. 360 was huge, and especially in the UK, wasn't it? But definitely more people have got PS4s than had.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The weird thing though, with Microsoft saying all their games are going to be on PC as well, as someone with a good PC,
exactly,
it's sort of like doesn't really encourage me to go out and buy Project Scarlet or whatever it is. If all their games are going to be on Game Pass on PC on day one, I might as well just save the £500 and play it on my PC.
I'm with you, because I'm like, anything that is remotely tempting to me as a Microsoft exclusive at the moment, as much as I'm a big fan of this like policy, it does. I'm like, why would I need an Xbox? Like, I've got I've got access to the exact games, just on a different machine.
Mm-hmm.
So it's.
Mine is just that I play it downstairs, which I like.
Yeah,
I do use my Xbox, to be fair, but like day one is a lot of money if you want to get on something day one, and if it's around the same time, then it's not just a lot of money; it's a lot of money on the back of another console as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So like, I'll get one like in January probably, but
I tell you what has got the most Xbox One use out of me is the games that aren't on the PC or aren't so easy to play on the PC.
Viva Pinata,
Fable 2. Viva Pinata, Fable 2 specifically, because
Fable. My language here, baby.
Do you know what I mean? And that's the kind. Unfortunately, is the key. And as much as gamers would complain and be like, "Oh, isn't it shit that they're just making Xbox One exclusives?"
Just fuck off, okay?
Just that's what would work if they just said, "We've got all these studios. The only place you can play it is on the Xbox."
That's how it always works. Nintendo doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's weird, but I tell you what, it's pretty exciting. I know, like. So next month, I'd say I'm out there, but it doesn't matter that I'm out there because you guys will see online the news before I get back to tell you about it. I'm going to X019, which is the big fucking Xbox Jizz Fest. Phil Spencer's there. Well, here's some games, and it's like the E3 experience, but they're doing it in London this year rather than in America, and it happens to be when I'm in London for Twitch London. So I'm down there. And they reckon that they're going to properly show off Scarlet there. And that was about a month ago, I heard this.
Do you reckon they'll show the name?
Well, now, I reckon they're going to do proper features. If PlayStation have just made a blog post, I reckon Xbox are going to wait. They've got a month. They're going to get Phil Spencer on stage, do a big thing. And I reckon we'll get a lot more now. Like, I reckon maybe they were, going to show off 20% of it. Now they'll be showing off like 40, right? So I reckon it'll be a name, maybe a look at it that'll get people talking.
Yeah.
And
controller or something.
Just to control. Well, they love doing that, don't they?
Yeah.
They love just going, and now it's in submarine blue.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
They've already shown off one game. They showed that cutscene of Halo Infinite, didn't they?
They did.
And they said this is running on next gen hardware.
Yeah. Let's just get Fable 4 right day one on Xbox. Then I'll change my mind. All right.
Yeah.
Then we'll talk.
You know what will get me if they make Conker's Bad Fur Day 2.
That's the thing.
That would get me.
That's the thing. There is potential for me to get one over PlayStation if they do a banger. They can do a banger. They got the.
It's gonna have to be one hell of a banger, but I agree with you.
/ Fable 1 again.
But it's going to be very difficult for me to say goodbye to 230 PlayStation 4 games.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
Game Pass.
Yeah, but I'm not like you, Liam. I'm not,
I'm not like you. Yeah, that's true. You know, that's fucking true. But I know exactly what you're on about. I feel the same thing, and I feel like if I have both of them, one of them is going to get neglected.
Yep.
And yeah, so Fable 4, like. At the end of the day, yeah, I'll just play it on the PC with an Xbox pad. So I've just talked myself out of it. Oh, you save yourself £500, thank you.
Yeah, so that's the conversation circle back to what we were saying earlier.
Infinitely.
Yeah. Jesus. Yeah, but Halo's called Infinite.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's the only obstacle.
Oh, yes.
To your otherwise fantastic
Imagine if
theory.
they did Gears Infinite and they started doing all that.
That was their thing. Just everything was infinite.
Forza Infinite.
Oh, yeah! And it's all games as a service.
Fable Infinite.
I would play the shit out of Forza Horizon Infinite if they just gave you the entire world to drive around.
Yeah.
I'd play the shit out of that.
Immersion, like Flight Sim, which looks good. Anyway, that's enough of that.
Let's quickly do another email then. So this is into our dspassmoves@gmail.com inbox once again. Which one should I read? I'll go for this one. Right, this is quite a nice one. Very short, but here we go. This one's from someone calling himself a human Katamari.
Oh yeah.
Gave me a name, but he didn't. I mean, I feel like he wants to be anonymous because he didn't put that in his email. Anyway, dear Special Moves, I'm a 35-year-old Scottish bloke from Edinburgh. I've just discovered GOG.com. How am I supposed to return to my PS4 after that? Sorry, Mike, but Arcanum and Dark Sun trumps Bloodborne for me. Currently using my PS4 to let my 2-year-old watch cartoons. Sincerely, a human Katamari. So this person did give me a name, but like I said, it wasn't in
GDPR.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I
don't
know
nothing else about him.
I don't want to.
Got a son, even though he's fucking Scotland.
Trashing Bloodborne. Yeah, exactly.
Dox him. No, don't do that. I think that weirdly, what's that game you talking about? Arcanum.
Yeah.
I looked that up today. I've never heard of it.
That's weird. I've never heard of it.
I've never heard of it, and I was watching someone on Twitch playing Disco Elysium, and then they said, "Oh," and I'm going to continue my Arcanum probably through this week, and I'm like, "What the fuck is Arcanum? Is this a new game I've never heard of?" Nah, it's fucking well old. It's a bit spooky, but it's not like Bloodborne. Nothing like it.
Yeah.
So what's he on about?
Fucking Katamari.
And how'd you go back? I don't know, man. It's just about that haptic feedback, innit?
Yeah.
That's what'll get you.
How'd you go back? You go back to a PS5, mate. That's
you try shooting on the fucking mouse and keyboard on Destiny. Feel the fucking vibration of what? Fuck all. RGB to death.
Yeah. You got it, mate. You got it.
Yeah. Hey, GOG is good, though. GOG is good. It's like what Mike was just explaining about, that nice feeling of Game Pass, like I'm only playing the old games. If you're an older person than us, and you remember games when they were like Settlers 1.
Shit.
Yeah, they were just shit fuck. Then it must be it must be mint going on GOG because all the dead cheap stuff. I'm just like, don't know it.
I mean, it's not even old games. You got new games on there.
That's what's confusing.
I played Darksiders 3 on GOG.
What? GOG is it's the home of DRM free stuff, right?
Yeah, that's their big selling point.
They need to rebrand basically because they started out as a place to get obscure fucking games from the 90s.
Literally the good old games.
Yeah, exactly. And the Witcher series because it's the
and anything made by CD Projekt because
but if they called it the CD Projekt launcher,
it
wouldn't go down very well, would it?
Yeah. No, but they need to change what it's called because it is no longer GOG.com unless you're reading it as good old games, which no one is.
GeoGang would be good old games and new games. There we go. GoGang. GoGang.com.
Fucking hell, mate. You need to move into branding, like specifically like coming up with names for stuff.
GoGang.com. Well, listen, GOG is pretty cool. It's pretty cool, but
yeah, it's well worth support. They do good things.
When they do that like little preservation shit, and they bring back games that aren't compatible with like
and they get a rock paper shotgun article.
I mean, to be fair, they brought back SWAT 4. What else do you need? That's a fucking game, that is.
Never even heard of it, you know.
Oh.
I'll take
You're missing out. Best tactical shooter ever made.
Don't say that in front of him!
Why?
Because you're going to say something about XCOM now.
No, I mean tactical shooter, more like, old school Rainbow Six.
I don't know
like
what I would
turn-based.
say. Yeah, I'm not huge on tactical shooters. Like, I was saying to you the other day, this is off topic, but I was saying, like, I always like the idea of armour. And I'm always like, I fancy a bit of this. And I'm like,
so you die in one bullet and then you go...
until you're like, right, so there's 5 buttons to change my posture. Okay, so I'm like, so I lean to the right, I lean slightly to the right, or I lean very much to the right.
Yeah. But don't lean slightly to the right up a hill, or you'll be exhausted for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
so you have to have a breather.
So anyone who's into the them hardcore sims, I'd like to know what's your problem.
Good. It encourages you not to shoot people. Because, you're a cop in it. You're meant to arrest people.
I know this
like
game.
Battlefield Hardline. Like you're
I know this
Yeah,
game.
but actual better and works.
I do know what the fuck you're on about,
It's good. It's really good.
When Payday 2 The Heist was popping off,
Yeah.
everyone was saying that you should play SWAT 4 instead.
Yeah.
Because it's like, like Search and Destroy, where you've got to defuse a bomb.
Yeah.
Imagine that if you're trying to defuse people.
How do you make them? How do you defuse a people?
You arrest them. You go behind them, hold the button on it.
So you have to.
There's a button to yell at them, get down.
Right, but they're not other players.
So it's a team like,
You can play
CG.
multiplayer. It's like co-op.
Which multiplayer person is going to go, okay, I will put my hands up. And
Oh no, it's not competitive. It's not PvP. It's like PvE multiplayer.
Oh,
so
yeah,
you
yeah.
play in a 4-man squad,
Yeah.
and it's up to you to take on the mission.
Yeah,
Defuse
because I don't
the
think
situation.
Braden is going to fucking put his hands up, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Honestly, it's got one of the best horror levels in a non-horror game.
This is such a deep cut. Like
I
you've
know.
gone deep
I
on
fucking
deep.
love it.
So
So
not
good.
only that, like you've segued into like Halloween season. What
Well,
did we call it
Yeah.
again? It wasn't
But
Scream.
I can play this. Oh, Horror-thon. Yeah. But
Liam's
I'm
Horror-thon,
just saying,
yeah.
like,
People would watch it.
this
SWAT
is-
4.
This is the magic of GOG. It allowed me to experience SWAT 4 again. But yeah, this like best horror level in a non-horror game. It's you have to go apprehend a serial killer, and it's got some great fucking atmosphere.
Okay.
But do you know who was a design lead on SWAT 4? Ken Levine, who made BioShock.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
I
it's
wouldn't have guessed that.
it was made by the people who made BioShock. They made SWAT 4, Irrational Games.
Oh.
I actually quite enjoyed this story because I have no idea what sort of.
That was the best last
Honestly,
3 minutes
like,
of a podcast.
watch a playthrough of that level on YouTube. It's just atmosphere for days.
Let me tell you, Liam, that's actually
giving the fans exactly what they want from Liam. Innit?
Yeah.
It's like if he's just come out of nowhere with this fucking mad thing.
But that is the magic of GOG, so it ties back into the
Exactly.
That's
No, it's
that.
completely
I
on
feel
topic,
bad.
that's it.
I feel bad that that's happened 50 minutes into this podcast. That needs to be its own channel.
It's
Do you know what I mean?
good.
I'll just set up a Twitch channel and play.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I'll just stream all these
Liam's
horror
Horror-thon.
games.
You're wasted
Today we're
here,
playing
son.
SWAT 4.
Yeah.
Tomorrow it's going to be. I don't know.
Exactly. You haven't got the same
can't
power.
top SWAT 4, can you?
Fatal Frame.
Oh yeah.
But that is an actual horror game.
Can I ask you a genuine question? Not to put you on the spot too much, though. Next week's podcast, can we expect a Horror-thon update?
Probably.
Because you would have probably played another game.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually
Right.
bought a horror game on eBay
Look
because
forward to that. Right.
Haunting Ground PS2, £14 it was. Horror classic made
This
by
is fucking
Capcom.
brilliant. Right. Well, you can tell us all about that in the next podcast, isn't it?
That's what I
If
mean. I
I
don't
play
have
a
too
podcast-
much pressure to him, but I know that
I'll
will be
try
into
and
it.
play a horror game in the
It's a
meantime.
good build.
Next week's going to be podcast 52, so that means a full year of podcasts.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we're going to cap the first year off with Liam's
What's
Horror-thon
it called?
Horror-thon.
update.
I don't know what I'll play. I'll try and play a horror game.
Just keep them on their toes, man. Don't fuck it. You know, they're going to be like, oh, it's going to be.
I'm not playing like Condemned Criminal Origins, even though that's a good game. I've played it before. So
I'm going to play one horror game this month, and that's it, probably. And
I
it'll
don't
be
know why
Silent
I've
Hill
not
2.
even thought about it.
I always do
Bloodborne,
it. I try and do it every year. More successful this year than last year.
Do you do anything else, or do you do Christmas games?
Not really. There's not many Christmas
No.
games,
Die
really.
Hard
Division?
trilogy, but only play the first act.
Dead,
Die Hard Trilogy Bronze First Act is a
Dead
good one.
Rising 4, that's set at Christmas.
Every game has a festive
A bit, yeah.
thing, don't
it
they?
does.
Especially if it's like a live game. They love a bit of like
Yeah. Only play Destiny 2 once a year, and it's at Christmas.
Yeah.
The snowball fights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christmas games.
I can't think of many Christmas games
What-
apart from Dead
The
Rising.
Grinch on the PS1.
Yeah.
That's good. That's
Grinch.
good.
I've really run out now.
A Nightmare Before Christmas, Oogie Boogie's Revenge on PS2.
This is Liam flexing.
The definitive list.
Did you know that's made by Capcom? It's just Devil May Cry with Jack Skellington.
Is it?
It's fucking good as well. It is.
Liam, you've really.
Sorry, I've derailed this hard.
No, you've sort of bottom ended the trip. The positive
yeah, that's what's happened.
People that have stuck around for this, they've been entertained, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's the first time I'm doing this in 2 weeks. It's all bottled
up. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of power to be unleashed.
I've got to get the trivia out.
Shall we do new games?
Yeah, go on.
You not got any more?
No, I'll refrain for now.
No, it's good.
It's trying to see if there's anything here that you might have a. Yeah, there is. There probably is actually. All right, so new games coming out this week. Actually, we're recording this on the 8th of October. So there's quite a few little things out today. Actually, I guess we will start with Concrete Genie.
Yeah. I remember this.
The graffiti thing.
Yeah. That's one of the PlayStation experiences.
It was, wasn't it?
Looks nice. Actually.
It's getting good reviews.
Is it?
Yeah,
I've not read any actually.
It's meant to be one of those quite short games, but quite lovely games.
Yeah. Okay.
Like Sayonara Wild Hearts, which I did play. I forgot about that. That's also a very beautiful game.
That's supposed to be sick as well.
I actually
very nice. I'd highly recommend it.
I actually asked you guys about this and not knowing anything about it when it came up on eShop, and it looked really good.
I played it in one sitting. Beautiful game.
That we're talking about Sayonara Wild Hearts now.
Sorry,
not
it's
Concrete
just because
Genie.
it got Concrete Genie is that sort of game.
I call them Absu games, even though Absu's not even the best type of one of those games.
Yeah, but it is
a visual feast.
Possibly the most. One of them games.
It's nothing else but that. So Concrete Genie, it'll fill an afternoon quite nicely.
Yeah,
that's it.
Cool.
I'm getting good reviews.
Trine 4, The Nightmare Prince is out on PC, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One.
Yeah.
Do any of you guys played any of the other Trine games, like platformers with like magical puzzly elements?
Yeah.
Where you play as multiple heroes. I've
been playing this week just to see what it's like. It's okay.
It's okay.
I haven't played it by myself.
Yeah. So yeah, it's co-op. There's co-op in it. There's 3-player co-op in the previous ones. I don't know what it's like on this one. But.
This is 4-player co-op.
Okay.
And I don't know. I don't really get it. I don't really get what the fuss is about. To be honest.
I told you guys.
Sorry to be a bummer.
I told you guys the story earlier before we started recording. I actually got a PS4 on the strength of Trine 2 because my dad had got it as the free
PlayStation Plus game.
PlayStation Plus game.
It's one of the first.
And I was playing, and I was like, watched him play, and he was playing. All right, he was playing Infamous as well, but it was like Trine 2 looks so nice. And I was like, oh fuck, I've got to get a new, I've got to upgrade, innit? So that's my strongest link to the Trine.
Liam's story was pretty similar.
I did, yeah. I played it a little bit when it was on PlayStation Plus. I remember liking it, but never finished it.
Yeah,
and that's Trine 2, not even Trine 4, which is the one that's actually out.
So they look really nice. I do think they look very nice. Like the art style.
It's a bit like Trine was like really well received. Trine 2 and 3 weren't, like Rambo 2 and 3 or something. But the reviews are like actually fucking wild good.
Right, unlike Rambo Last Blood.
Yeah, Rambo didn't ever recover.
No.
So Trine 4 better than Rambo. That's what I'm
Also out on the 8th is Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Layer.
Yeah.
It's out on PC, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One.
Mm-hmm. Donkey Kong Country sort of game.
So it's the sequel. Full on.
It's a spin-off. So instead of being a Banjo-Kazooie type collectathon game, it's a 2D side-scrolling game more in the vein of Donkey Kong Country.
Okay.
Fucking love Donkey Kong Country.
I know, mate. Tell us more.
Best platformer ever. Best soundtrack ever. Oh, you're on about Yooka-Laylee?
No.
Donkey Kong Country. It's just fucking mint, isn't it?
Well, I mean, most of the people who made the original Donkey Kong Country are working on Yooka-Laylee.
That's right,
because it's made up of mostly Rare developers.
It is. So I know that the first game didn't do so well because it was trying to bring that nostalgia back. It was kickstarted, if I remember.
It was kickstarted, yeah.
Everyone was saying it's going to be like a grand old romp in the vein of Banjo-Kazooie. It has a really good veteran team behind it. People thought it was quite shit. This is like
people were very annoyed about the voice decision, which is very loyal to
I quite liked Yooka-Laylee.
Yeah, I know you did. After this big camera patch, but even couldn't have changed much. The music was spot on as well.
But they in the one thing about Banjo-Kazooie, that is sort of, you might remember it fondly, is the voice acting thing where it's just noises, and then they had that very faithfully in Yooka-Laylee, and then that was like
this sticks like to a very very easy formula. The other 2D platformers, like, I don't know, the best 2D platform of all time, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze.
What's that, mate? Lately. Is that Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze?
Best 2D platform of all time. Yeah, no questions about it. Now, this is using that, like, 2D element, so there's less room to fuck it up, basically. All you need to do is make some cool jumps, have some banging music, and that is it. Enemy placement isn't annoying. Boom, done. You can like do all this other shit, like collect some balloons or have time trials, but no one gives a fuck. Get good levels, don't have shit like enemy placement, make some sick jumps. That's how you make a game like this, and it seems that they've done it. The reviews are pretty good for it. I'm looking forward to listening to the soundtrack and not playing the game.
Okay, and on Friday the 11th, there's a couple of ports, really. It's a bit of a quiet week because next week is actually fucking jam-packed.
Yeah.
But finishing off this week is Frostpunk, which is coming to PS4 and Xbox One.
Oh, okay. So just a port,
city building, survival type thing, and Grid, which is going to PC, PS4 and Xbox One.
Oh, that's a new installment, that one.
Is it?
Soft
just
reboot.
Called Grid again?
Yeah, it's like a soft reboot.
Really?
Fuck's sakes.
Is it?
That's also reviews are coming out with that, and they are also good reviews.
I saw people on Twitch playing it today. I didn't actually click it because I thought it was like an older game.
No,
yeah, exactly.
It's like a new installment, but just called Grid. So we've gone back to that old.
Did they think that we just fucking forget?
Yeah. Well, because I do.
The first one was called Grid Auto Sport, so they've just
dropped.
They've dropped the Auto Sport bit.
My bad. Right. I just looking at the Grid Wikipedia page. Right. Crack open the gameplay section. Yeah. Nothing in there except this Nemesis system. One of the key.
Sorry, mate, are you reading Shadow of Mordor's
Wikipedia
page?
One of the key mechanics is the Nemesis system, where AI drivers will become aggressive towards the player.
I think that's in all racing games, really. I remember that in Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005.
Now branded as the Nemesis system. So that's
Nemesis.
That's how Grid is panning out. But it's having good reviews, you're saying, is it?
Yeah, it seems to be like Codemasters who make this one. They're sort of like just the masters of that sort of arcadey racer at the minute.
Yeah,
that's
that code.
Well, Forza Horizon would beg to differ, but you know, it's
Burnout. It's pretty good.
Yeah, Burnout's also good, but yeah, it's got its fans in the racing game community.
Cool, awesome. So those are the games that are coming out this week. It's not a vintage week, but
just hold tight for next week, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the week after that is even more mad.
It's that time of year now as well, isn't it? It's
we're looking like
pretty jam packed now. So plenty of Christmas presents to be fucking bought and that, innit? Do you know what I mean? I'm gonna get Death Stranding on my birthday.
That's amazing.
It's out on your birthday.
It is.
Okay, well that's simple enough then. Day one buy.
Yeah.
That's
the end of the Special Moves podcast.
You're going to contribute to the Day One records.
Yeah. I was genuinely playing with the idea of whether or not I was actually going to get it, but I've got to fucking get it. I've got to get it.
You've got a responsibility. And also, do you know why you just do it? You owe it to yourself, yeah? Because you're going to be fucking well bored if me and Liam are talking about it for the whole podcast, which we will. And there's nothing, that's inevitable. True. So you can either get involved or you're just going to be fucking well bored. So just do it for that.
I feel that's a very aggressive pitch that you've given me there. I feel bullied into it now.
Yeah, we're just going to make you want to not
I'm going to open that present off Laura. I'm going to go, thanks, I guess.
I've just bought Tolerance.
Yeah. Can't wait to be alright in the podcast.
Tolerance sounds like a character in the game.
It certainly
probably
does.
is.
Listen, this applies to everyone listening as well. It's going to be a rough week if you don't get it, because it's just going to be...
it's like Souls, isn't it? It's like, how many times have we been banging on about Dark Souls, Bloodborne...
Remember when Sekiro came out and we had like 2 podcasts all about it?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we're just giving you a warning now. Just get yourself ready for it, alright?
Yeah.
You just know that week after Death Stranding now it's going to be like loads of story explanation guides and like Easter egg guides, and every article is going to be about some facet of Death Stranding.
I bet you're all looking forward to it, aren't you? Well, it's only a couple of weeks away.
Yeah, it's not fun. There's people in work that have been asking me about it. People who don't play games have been mentioned it and asked about it, so I think it's want
to see Joker on the weekend. Big fat Death Stranding trailer.
Same here.
I had Death Stranding, I had Ghost Recon, and I had Modern Warfare.
Exactly the same.
Well, I'm going to go see Joker tomorrow, actually. So
you might have the
same. I look forward to that. I look forward to that.
Same trailer package.
Spot on. That's the end of the Special Moves podcast. That's episode 51. Episode 52 next week. Look forward to Liam's, that stuff we were talking about earlier. Horror-thon update. Remember to support us on Patreon if you want to get access to the Patreon bonus podcast. Get a couple of them every month. Send us an email to dearspecialmoves@gmail.com if you want us to talk about anything, any stories, any opinions that you got about games. If you disagree with us on anything, if you agree with us, let us know and we'll have a chat about it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. See you soon.